Alright traders, I'm back again with another video, and this time I'm going to be talking about a few pairs that I'm looking at right now. Mainly I'm in a trade also, and I'm going to show you about that, and that's where I am right now. I'm looking at the Aussie dollar on the daily time frame. Now I was in this trade previously, and I had a video on that last week, and I got out of the trade because I don't like to be in the trade over the weekend. And also, if the trade looks like it could run, I'll stay in the trade. But at the time last weekend, this trade was getting ready to bounce at the bottom of this cloud right here, at the top of the cloud. So this looked like it could be resistance, and I figured that if this was going to be resistance, then maybe the trade would retrace a little bit. So I took my profit and got out, mainly about 100 pips. But now, as you see on the daily time frame, that we had a cloud breakout, which is very good. So I got into the trade again. Now on the cloud breakout, we could have this move and then come back and retrace this level and then take off again. I'm looking at this pair long term to reach up to this level here. Basically, you're looking at this area here where this high is right here, and this high here, somewhere in that area. So I'm looking for that target area there. Now the whole chart looks pretty bullish because you have mainly price breaking above this cloud. Okay, so our trend started back here, price broke above the cloud, and you got a TK crossover right here. So that's a bullish signal. And you don't have a twist right here yet. You don't have your Kumo twist here, and Chico span is above price, and it's inside this cloud. Once Chico span breaks outside of this cloud, that'll be really good. Now Chico span could come up and hit this cloud, and then you'll see price come back down and then attempt that again. Now this is the cloud isn't really thick in this area here, and we just broke above this level here, so this is looking really good. It can retrace, like I said, and come back to this level. Now also, we got to realize how far away we are from the Kijinsen right here. So make sure we're aware of that when you take your trade. And like I said, you got the crossover, TK crossover. Everything looks pretty bullish on this chart. Just basic simple stuff. And again, looking at support and resistance levels. So this would be, once this cloud broke this level, this was a resistance level, and we broke resistance. So we want to get into the trade, and we want to be as close to resistance as possible so that we can put our stop loss a little bit below that level, because now we know that price, this is going to hold as support now. So when price comes back down, this level will hold as support. Maybe it'll come down a little bit below that, but hopefully it doesn't close below that. And once it bounces off this level and then takes off again. Okay, so that's where I look at that on the daily time frame. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, on the 4-hour time frame, this blue line here, this light blue line here, that's the Kumo on the daily time frame. So that's the top of that Kumo on the daily time frame. I put those lines there so I can see that and know where that Kumo is. I know that that's going to be a level of resistance or support. So now we saw that we broke out of the cloud here on the daily time frame, is where this cloud was. And this is, you could see this resistance levels right here. You could see where price came up to that level and never broke that level until here. So then price broke that level. You want to get into the trade. And then you have your stop loss. You could put your stop loss a little below the Kijinsen, and you could see this is where my stop loss is. And here's where I got into the trade. I'm close to this support level right here now. So price can come back to that support level, even down to the Kijinsen, but I won't lose a lot, okay? I'll still be pretty close, and then I'm going to ride it as far as I can, hopefully to that level that I told you on the daily time frame, which would bring me close to around 400 pips. Okay, so you see this whole chart here is nothing but bullish on the 4-hour time frame. So you see that. Now let's go to the next pair, which is the dollar yen. I want to tell you a few things about looking at the daily time frame to get your bias. Okay, a lot of times I'm getting a lot of messages about traders missing out on trades and not understanding why I'm taking trades when the bias is opposite of the daily time frame? Well, one thing is, you know, I can make counter trend trades, right? That's a counter trend trade, but also a lot of trends will start on the lower time frame and then develop into the higher time frame. That's where the trend starts. And just because, your time frames don't coincide with each other doesn't mean you can't take the trade. Okay, you have to play it smart, keep your stop losses tight, but also you have to know and look at the market and study the market and see how your pair moves. A trend can start like this trend here. It started below this Kumo here, and then it went above the Kumo and started the trend. So, you know, doing a multi time frame analysis is basically just trying to get the odds more in your favor, okay? So we're just trying to get our probability of a good trade even higher. But just trade your time frame. If you look at your time frame and you're looking at all your signals, and all your signals are telling you that this is bullish, then go for the long trade. If it's telling you it's bearish, go for the short trade. But if you have mixed signals on your time frame that you're trading, then don't get into that trade yet. Now this was one that I was really looking at yesterday, and I wanted to get into this trade also, but I'm in a trade and I'm not going to get into this trade. But I saw where price came down to this cloud, and I thought it would break this cloud here, but it didn't. So it went up to the cloud, stayed inside the cloud, went back down to the cloud, and used this cloud. Look at all the times that it used this cloud as support and resistance. It came down here at support level, came up here, resistance, came down to the cloud, support, bounced back up, resistance, came down, held support for two candles, and then it broke support. So we had a Kumo breakout, and then it came all the way back up to this cloud and held it as resistance. And now here's where you really should have gotten to the trade. You see this crossover here. It's a medium strength signal because it's inside this cloud, and price bounced off of the bottom of the cloud. Here's where you want to get into the trade, and if you would have gotten to the trade, you ride this down to here. Now let's go to the daily time frame and look at this. Now if you took the trade short, you see I have this dark blue line here. This is going to be your Kijun-sen on the daily time frame. So that's the Kijun-sen on the daily time frame, and you can see that there's a possibility that price can come down to that level and then bounce and go the opposite way. So I am going counter trend trade if I take a short trade right here because of that cloud breakout. But you see you have this level is where you want to be aware of. And basically if we go back to the 4-hour time frame, you can see if you got into the trade here, you want to be careful down here. This is that Kijun-sen on the daily time frame. I put those on my chart so I can see the daily time frame support and resistance levels, just like I put the cloud level from the daily time frame if it's one that I need to be aware of. But you can see the Kijun-sen here. This is the daily time frame Kijun-sen on the daily time frame, the dark line here. So I know that price may come down to this level, and then maybe I have I have some support here, and see what happens with the trade then. Everything on here is bearish on this chart, the 4-hour time frame. Everything on the daily time frame is pretty much bullish, right? So I got two different signals on two different time frames. But if I'm trading just my time frame, I'm aware of those things that I told you as far as where it can stop and go back the other way. But I have this breakout, and it's a good thing. Okay, so you keep your stop loss tight. You have this breakout, you put your stop loss a little above the cloud because it's not that thick, or you put it just below this Kijun-sen, which would probably put you a little above the cloud here anyway. So then you take that trade. If you take that trade, you can see that price has a possibility of coming down to this level. Okay, so that's what I saw on the dollar yen, and it's one that I really wanted to take, but I was watching the Aussie dollar and I wanted to get into that trade. Now this one here just looking at the 4-hour time frame, I'm going to show you what I saw, and this was another good opportunity. Now there's a few things that we have to look at. This level here, basically right here, right? And then this level here. Those are the two main levels on this chart as of now, because, and let me put one more line and show you where it could have been another opportunity. This all pretty much near the same area. But when price was below these three lines here, especially these two here, when price was below this first line, you see where price had the Kumo breakout. If you didn't get in on that Kumo breakout, price came all the way back down. It bounced off of that Kumo, the bottom of this Kumo right here, and this would have been a really great trade. But you know, we didn't get into this trade. Now, if we missed this, we wanted to look for another opportunity. That opportunity came when price broke this red line here. Okay, price broke that line here, and then we get into this trade, and you can see where you would be right now. Now, if you didn't get into it here, this was also the area that you would mark. Here's the levels of resistance that I marked right here and right here. So when price broke one of these levels, this is where I wanted to get into the trade. Now, if I'm riding this trade, I would ride it to this level first to see what happens. This is going to be a level of concern because this could be a resistance area. But once price breaks this level, this looks like some nice selling. So if you're not in this trade yet, look at these levels here and see if you can mark these on your chart, and then look to see what happens on the on this 4-hour time frame. Once price gets to that level, see what happens there, and what if it breaks through that level. So I'm at like 1.52895. Once price breaks that level, then maybe that's a good trade. If when it broke this level, it was a good trade. So what you're gonna do, had you taken this trade, basically you have your stop loss. You could put your stop loss a little below this level here, because this is going to be support now, or else bring it down to the Kijinsen. Okay, but now price broke this level, so we're looking for price to go to this level. Now this is Friday, so there's not going to be much happening, but next week we're going to watch this level, and this is going to be our main level. So we're going to see if price can break this level. If price breaks that level, then that's a long trade that I would be looking at. Traders, that's it right now. Just, I don't know, I've been talking about the same thing over and over, but I have a couple things that I want to get into a little deeper, talk a little about a little more different things on the Ichimoku system, and also I'm going to tell you about different ways to trade the system. I've been showing you basic ways, and to me this is the most and safest way to trade this system, and to me I think it's the most profitable way that I trade it. Now there are other ways that you can use the Ichimoku system, and we'll get into that, but I want you to know the basics and know how to really trade this thing properly, and then you can branch off and have your other ideas. Okay, so traders, hopefully this is helping you guys, and until next time, God bless.